Originally announced in 1998 in one of the original Elder Scrolls games, an Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire, and then finally released in 2002, the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is, in my opinion, one of the best Elder Scrolls games. Excluding, those other two great games I'm actually going to talk about later, but on this episode we'll talk about Morrowind. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is a game to be reckoned with, filled to the brim with quests, characters, long pieces of repeated dialogue and hundreds of other characters, awful cutscenes or what the few had, and some weird character animations. The Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind is often looked down on its more negative features, some of which I've already mentioned. But in this video, and hopefully the next two, we will be rediscovering the Elder Scrolls series, starting with Morrowind in this one. Now, for the next three games we'll be reviewing, whichever one I am doing currently, Morrowind, Oblivion or Skyrim, going to split the episode into 6 main points. Number 1 being the NPC interactions you may have with other non-player characters, NPCs, and whether NPCs are essential or not. Number 2 being on the factions and their quest lines as well as side quests. Number 3 being on the quest and journal systems and more on the main quest. Number 4 being the impact your player character, the one that you control, has on the world or the country that the game's taking place in Tamriel. Number 5 on puzzles and dungeons and how hand-holdy they are and how the dungeon layouts are. And number 6 is on the soundtrack. And so beginning with point number 1, NPC interactions and essential characters in Morrowind. In Morrowind, every single character is killable, and by that I mean no character is essential. Compared to future titles, you can go around to every single village and every single town within the game and kill off every single character. Provided you are powerful enough, of course. I mean, if you try to do that at level 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or any of the earlier levels, you'll be hunted down and torn apart by guards. What this gave the game was a bit of depth, and made it feel like more of a living, breathing world, rather than simply being told that you could not kill the characters in the game. I mean, you could kill guards, gods, and even the main plot characters. The game would not tell you, the game would not hold your hand and say you cannot kill this character because they're a plot character, but would tell you after you've killed them that they were, and that you should reload and rethink about your actions. However, there were disadvantages to making plot characters all killable. Because they're all killable, their AI, or artificial intelligence, cannot be that complex. Because, I mean, if they walked off a road and died, or got attacked by a bandit or something like that, that would be the end of the main quest. So there was a disadvantage towards it. In terms of NPC interactions, characters had a long list of different subjects that they could be talked about, some spanning up to 30 or even 40 different conversation topics, varying from different quests, quest lines, things like that, lore, rumours, and if they liked you enough, secrets. The only downside to this was that some pieces of information had to be copied and pasted onto other random NPCs throughout villages, and this could make them seem like tour guides or brochures. Do you want to know some rumours? How about some lore about the Morrowind Islands in Vardenfell? How about I tell you about a little secret? And it could get repetitive over time. Point number 2. Factions within Morrowind. In Morrowind there are a behemoth of factions for you to join, including those more associated in Oblivion such as the Fighters Guild, Mages Guild, Thieves Guild, and Dark Brotherhood, as well as more traditional island-based factions such as House Redoran, House Halalu, and House Tilvarni, of factions so racist and fascist they cave themselves in all from society. There are also others such as vampire factions, the Tribunal Temple, the Molag Bal, etc., that were all very in-depth as well and had their own different storylines and individual interesting characters within. My personal favourite faction, in my opinion, would honestly have to be the Tels Telvanni, because they're selfish and dark-natured personalities towards other factions. As well as also having plenty of factions in Morrowind, the factions that you encounter and may or may not join in Morrowind have impacts on your actual character and the other factions within the game. As seen below, you can see that depending on which factions you are joined to will depend on how other factions react. For example, if you join with House Halalu, you will do well with the Kamanu Tong, various vampire clans, mainly Imperial-based guilds such as the Legion, the Knights, and the Cult. But you will suffer greatly with the vampire clans, the Ashlanders, House Redoran, the Sixth House, Telvanni and Talos cults, and the Temple and Thieves Guild. Point number 3 in Morrowind: the quest and journal system. The journal and quest, or the quest and journal system, are an interesting sort of two batched things together in a game, especially the Elder Scrolls. The thing to remember is that the quest system is the way you acquire the quest. The journal system is where the quests themselves are stored. Now, the journal system in Morrowind is absolutely terrible. I mean, this little book that you can see right here gets filled up very, 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 very quickly. And with no proper sort of content system, the book itself becomes useless, confusing, and hard to find what you have done and what you have not done. However, as you can now see upon the screen yourself, in the Tribunal expansion to Morrowind, there was a new content, as I mentioned slightly earlier, that was added to the journal system. Now you could sort through your active, inactive, finished, unfinished types of quests, faction quests, different, main quests, to see what had been done and had not been done, and made it easier to sort through different quest lines to complete. This improved the game, but it was never perfect. However, the quest system in Morrowind was intriguing and engaging. Characters would give you lengthy lines of dialogue to explain how you got to an area and what to do in the quest, particular directions, the rewards you would receive, etc. Point number 4: impacts that your character make on the world of Morrowind. Impacts on the world of Morrowind through your character decisions, can be a difficult one to pinpoint, especially based on reactions of different characters, how the world itself is impacted. But most impacts your character will make on the world will be on generally character reactions as such as if I go with a certain faction, that character will react differently to if I'm with another faction. So I mean, e.g., if I caught vampirism, which is shown in the video now, and I then got the sanguinitis vampirism plague thing and waited 24 hours to become a vampire, and I started talking to different characters, 90% of characters will not like me. Guards will attack me, vampire hunters will slaughter me on sight, and it can be a very difficult daily life to live. However, because I'm a vampire, I then have granted supernatural powers such as raising the undead and being able to feed to weaken my weakness to sunlight and having different ailments put upon me. And I can also go back to the clan where I was bitten and join them and do some quests there. Other sort of impacts you could have on the world, mainly including your role in like a higher faction by being able to receive certain rewards from other faction members and other mercenaries being able to follow you around, and other sort of other things, such as being part of royalty, or if you have on the expansion packs and completing that can also grant certain sort of ranks that other people acknowledge you on, etc. Hopefully I have expressed my point clear enough that you understand what I'm essentially trying to say. It is what it is, and it can be hard to explain. Point number 5. Puzzles and dungeons. Point number 5. Puzzle solving and dungeons in Morrowind. Morrowind had some good puzzles in it, not too hand-holdy. For example, the puzzle canal. During Morrowind you can find a part of the game, or a dungeon within the game, which the thing goes the puzzle canal. Essentially, in this puzzle canal there was like a river section and a tile in the middle which read, "Breathe the waters of life, and the fountain of something or other shall be made unto you, or the way shall be made unto you." No hand-holding mechanics told you how to do this, and to complete this puzzle you had to drown yourself as part of a ritual. What I like about these puzzles in Morrowind is that they are free of hand-holding, like I just said before, and that allow you to think better and make the world feel more organic. There are also some good dungeons within the game, especially this one where you can find a flame astronaut who tells you riddles upon the old, and then tells you to kill him straight after you've completed all of them. Cool flame astronaut, really. If you do want more in terms of riddles though, you can also go and buy riddle books within the game with Morrowind, including this one on screen now, the Red Book of Riddles. Here's a question which you'll be answered for the next episode, or the next Elder Scrolls reviews, in which I'll reveal the answer. See if you can work it out. I gave you a sock not unlike a box, with hammers and nails around it. 2 lids open with knocks. See if you can work that out for next episode. Point number 6. The soundtrack. I don't really need to go on to about this one because of how good it is, and if you have heard the soundtrack you will know it is brilliant. And so for the last few minutes I'll just play the soundtrack of Morrowind. Off we go then.